The skyline glittered like spilled diamonds beyond the glass, yet all I felt was the echo of silence. "We're busy that weekend, Valerie. Maybe next month," my mother said, her tone calm, polished, dismissive. I held the phone tighter. "But Mom, I just bought my first place. I wanted everyone to see it." She sighed, bored already. "Your father has a golf tournament. Bethany's showing a house. We'll come by when things settle down." Things never settled down. Not for them. Not when it came to me. I set the phone on the counter, granite cool beneath my palm, and looked around my brand new apartment. 14 floors above Portland. Floor-to-ceiling windows, hardwood floors that gleamed beneath soft afternoon light. A kitchen that smelled faintly of new paint and possibility. I should have felt proud. I should have felt seen. Instead, the silence pressed against me like glass. 8 years of double shifts. 8 years of ramen dinners, mended scrubs, and an old sedan that coughed smoke every winter. I had clawed my way here alone. No help, no applause, just endurance. And now, the one thing I wanted, a single afternoon to celebrate with my family, had been brushed aside like it was nothing. I invited them all anyway. My sister Bethany, my brother Trevor, even cousin Janine. One by one, the excuses rolled in. Bethany laughed when she heard the address. "You bought there? Valerie, that's not even a trendy neighborhood. I could have found you something with better resale value." The word stung more than I wanted to admit. When Saturday came, my apartment stood spotless. Wine glasses lined, appetizers ready, candles lit. I waited until sunset before blowing them out, one by one. The city lights rose behind me, indifferent and beautiful. I took a photo from my window, the skyline glowing against the dusk, and posted it with 2 simple words. "Finally home." No tags. No captions. Just that. Minutes later, the first notification appeared. Then another. Then dozens. My mother. My sister. My brother. Messages flooded in. Questions, calls, even panic. "Is that the Westview building? You didn't tell us it was a high-rise. Call us right now." I stared at the screen and let it buzz until the light faded. For 8 years, they hadn't shown up for me. Not once. But one picture of success, and suddenly I was worth their attention. I silenced the phone and poured myself a glass of wine. Outside, the skyline shimmered. Cold, perfect, untouchable. For the first time in my life, I let them wait. And deep down, a question whispered beneath the quiet. If they only see me when I shine. What happens when I stop answering? By Monday morning, my phone was a battlefield of missed calls and desperate messages. 17 from Mom, 12 from Bethany, 8 from Trevor, even 3 from Dad, a man who only ever called on birthdays, and sometimes not even then. At first, I ignored them. Work was busy, and that suited me fine. The hospital's chaos was cleaner than family drama. Machines beeped. Patients needed comfort. I knew my place there. During lunch, curiosity got the better of me. I scrolled through the texts. Mom's tone shifted from polite to urgent to furious. "Saw your post. Call me. Valerie, we need to talk about your apartment." This is ridiculous. Pick up your phone. Bethany's messages read like a realtor's pitch deck. "Is that the Westview building? I didn't know you were buying high-rise property. We should talk about resale potential." Trevor's were blunt. "Nice view. Seriously, call Mom. What floor are you on?" I smiled without humor. For the first time, they wanted access to my life. And I didn't owe them a thing. That week, I deleted my mother's voicemail without listening to the end. Then another came. Her voice sounded softer this time, the way she talked when she wanted something. "Your father and I would love to see the apartment. Maybe this weekend? Call me back, sweetheart. I didn't. I told myself I didn't care. But that was a lie, because part of me, the little girl who once tried so hard to earn their approval, still ached to be noticed. By Friday, their obsession had become relentless. Bethany began sending me professional advice. You should refinish the floors. Adds value. I know a contractor who could help. Family discount. Trevor texted links to furniture websites. Thought you might like this for your new place. Dad started calling daily, pretending concern but fishing for details. Your mother's worried. That place must have cost a fortune. They didn't want me. They wanted to understand how. By the following Wednesday, my mother appeared at my workplace. I spotted her reflection in the polished glass before I heard her voice. Valerie, honey. There you are. Her presence in my hospital-uniformed world felt like an intrusion, her designer coat too bright, her perfume too strong. I'm working, Mom, I said flatly. She laughed lightly, like I'd told a joke. Of course you are. I just wanted to check on you. You haven't been answering your phone. I've been busy. We're all busy, sweetheart, but family is important. Your father and I really want to see your new apartment. How about this weekend? I met her eyes and saw not guilt, not love, but calculation. This weekend doesn't work for me, I said. Her smile faltered. Oh, well, when would... I'll let you know. I turned away, leaving her standing in the sterile hallway, surrounded by nurses and the faint hum of hospital machines. That night, I sat by the window again. The city shimmered below, distant and alive. I thought of my mother's face, her brittle politeness cracking for just a second. They weren't after forgiveness. They were after access. And as I stared at the skyline, the one I had bought with every sleepless night and every double shift, a quiet resolve began to form. The next time someone knocked on my door, I promised myself it would be me deciding whether to open it. It was Saturday noon when the doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. The sound echoed through my apartment like a warning. Through the peephole, I saw a familiar silhouette. Perfect hair, crisp blazer, a bottle of wine in hand. Bethany. I considered pretending I wasn't home. But she rang again. Longer this time. Fine. I opened the door, blocking her path. Surprise, she said, smiling too wide. I was showing a property nearby and thought I'd drop by. How did you get my address? Mom gave it to me. She lifted the bottle. Can I come in? I brought wine. I didn't invite you. Her smile faltered. Valerie, come on. Don't be like this. I know you're upset, but upset? I asked quietly. You laughed when I told you I bought this place. Bethany's voice softened into performance mode, the same one she used to charm clients. I said that because I care. You could have made a better investment. But listen, I'm here now. Can we please move past this? There it was. The casual dismissal wrapped as an apology. No, I said simply. Her jaw tightened. Are you seriously holding a grudge over one missed afternoon? It's just an apartment, Valerie. It's not that big a deal? Exactly, I replied. It's just an apartment, so you shouldn't mind not seeing it. Her smile cracked. You're being petty. I'm being honest. For the first time, her perfect poise wavered. She dropped the act. I know we haven't always been close, but we're sisters. Can't we at least try? I looked at her, polished, confident, utterly unaware of how much damage her words had caused over the years. Do you want to know something, Bethany? I said. I worked 8 years for this apartment. 8 years of exhaustion, double shifts, ramen dinners. When I finally bought it, all I wanted was to share it with my family. And not one of you could give me a few hours of your time. Bethany shifted the wine bottle from one hand to the other. I said I was sorry. No, I said softly. You said you had a client meeting. That's not the same thing. Fine, she snapped. Be angry. But don't come crying to us when you need something. I stared at her. I haven't needed you in years. And then I closed the door. Her gasp of disbelief echoed for a second before the hallway fell silent. My hands were shaking, but it wasn't fear. It was release. Years of swallowing resentment had hardened into resolve. Mom's text came 5 minutes later. Bethany told me what happened. This is unacceptable. You need to apologize to your sister. I stared at the message. Then I blocked her number. And Bethany's, and Trevor's, and my father's. One by one, their names disappeared like ghosts I had finally exorcised. When I set my phone down, the silence that followed was unlike any I'd ever known. Terrifying, yes, but clean. A quiet I had earned. For the next week, I lived like the city beyond my window. Bright, alive, untouchable, until one afternoon, at the nurse's station, I heard a voice that made my blood run cold. Hi, I'm looking for my daughter. She's a nurse here. Valerie? I closed my eyes. My mother had come to my workplace, and this time she wasn't leaving without a scene. Her voice carried through the hospital corridor, sweet but commanding, the kind of tone that turned sympathy into spectacle. I'm looking for my daughter, Valerie. She's a nurse here, I froze. I'd heard that voice soothe donors, scold waiters, charm neighbors, but it had never once been used for me. The charge nurse spotted me immediately. Valerie, your mother's here. Perfect. She walked toward me, perfume sharp, smile brighter than the fluorescent lights. Valerie, honey. There you are. I'm working, Mom. I know. But we've been worried. You've blocked all our calls. What's going on? I've been busy. She gave that light, patronizing laugh. We're all busy, sweetheart. But family's important. Your father and I would really love to see your new apartment. How about this weekend? I looked at her, immaculate and polished, standing in a world that didn't belong to her. This weekend doesn't work for me, her smile faltered. Then when? I'll let you know. I turned away. I didn't see her face as she left, but I could feel it. The quiet disbelief of a woman who had never been told no by her invisible daughter. By the next week, they'd escalated. Bethany started texting about contractors and decor. Trevor sent friendly check-ins. Dad called, pretending to care but always circling back to money. Then came the ambush. I was updating a patient's chart when I heard them again, Mom and Bethany, voices floating from the nurse's station. She's been acting strange, my mother was saying. Blocking our calls. We're worried. She's been through a lot, Bethany added, tone sugary and fake. We just want to make sure she's okay. My jaw clenched. They had brought lunch. From an expensive deli, as if a sandwich could erase a lifetime of absence. When I stepped out, they both looked up, relieved and triumphant. There you are, my mother exclaimed. We just wanted to talk. You came to my job, I said evenly. That's not okay. Bethany rolled her eyes. You wouldn't answer your phone. What else were we supposed to do? Respect my decision. Her tone snapped. Valerie, this is ridiculous. You're cutting us off over one weekend? I felt the words spill before I could stop them. It's not about one weekend. It's about every time I was invisible, every graduation, every achievement, every moment you chose someone else over me. People had begun to stare. My mother's face tightened. We came here to reconcile, not be attacked. I laughed bitterly. Then tell me one thing about my life right now. One thing that matters to me. They froze. Bethany looked at Mom. Mom looked at the floor. You work at the hospital, Bethany said weakly. You bought an apartment. That's it, I whispered. That's all you know. I turned to leave. This isn't productive, my mother said, her voice cold now. You're not in a place to be rational. They left the deli bag on the counter like a peace offering no one wanted. That evening, Trevor was waiting in my building's lobby, shoulders tense, holding a paper cup of coffee. I know you don't want to see me, he said quietly, but I need to talk. I almost walked away, but something in his tone stopped me. 5 minutes later, in my apartment, he looked out at the skyline. Wow, you really did it, Val. For once, his voice held no mockery, just awe. He turned to me, expression raw. I get why you're mad. We've treated you like you didn't matter. And I'm sorry. You didn't deserve that. For the first time, I didn't feel anger, just exhaustion. Then why now, I asked. Why only after the post? Because Mom's scared, he admitted. She realized she doesn't know who you are anymore. And honestly, neither do I. His honesty cracked something open. But trust? That would take more than words. As he left, he said softly, They'll try something soon. Be ready. Janine's words echoed in my head for days. They're not trying to make peace, Valerie. They're trying to use you. When she told me about the real reason, how Mom and Dad wanted money, how Bethany wanted to list my apartment for commission, the ache in my chest turned cold. 8 years of silence had built these walls. Now I would use them. So when my mother called again, I answered with a steady voice. Maybe I was too harsh, I said. Family's important. Her relief spilled through the phone like champagne. Oh, darling. I knew you'd come around. Come to dinner on Sunday. We'll make your favorite. Perfect. They were all there when I arrived. Mom glowing with fake warmth. Dad trying too hard to sound casual. Bethany with that smile she wore for clients. Trevor silent in the corner. The same dining room where I'd once sat invisible at the table now felt like a stage. Dinner was civil, rehearsed. Small talk about golf, open houses, and the weather. Then my father cleared his throat. Your mother and I have been having a little trouble with our investments. Just temporary, of course. We were wondering if you might help us out for a bit, say $20,000 to start. Bethany added, and if you ever decide to upgrade, Val, I'd love to handle your listing. That building has serious resale potential. There it was. The real reason they wanted me back? I smiled. Let me think about it, I said lightly. Mom exhaled with relief. Of course, sweetheart. We knew you'd understand. But what I understood was something else entirely. A week later, I hosted my own housewarming party, the one I had always wanted. I invited everyone, my coworkers, neighbors, friends from yoga, even extended family, and the people who had ignored me when I needed them most. My parents arrived first, smiling like politicians. Bethany came next, inspecting the apartment like a shark assessing profit. This really is a prime property, she announced loudly. Excellent investment. I'm so proud of my sister. I let her bask in the lie. When the room was full, I raised my glass. Thank you all for coming, I began. This apartment represents 8 years of hard work, double shifts, sleepless nights, ramen dinners. I built it from nothing. Polite applause, smiles. Then my tone shifted. When I invited my family to my first housewarming, none of them came. They were too busy. But when I posted one picture of this view, I gestured to the glittering skyline. They suddenly found time. The room went still. Bethany's smile froze. Mom's color drained. 2 weeks ago, I continued, my parents asked me for $20,000. My sister offered to list this apartment for a commission she'd already calculated. And they told me family helps family, gasps, murmurs. My father shot to his feet. That's enough. You're humiliating yourself. No, Dad, I said, calm now. I'm telling the truth. You all saw me as a resource, not a daughter, Bethany hissed. You'll regret this. I already did, I replied softly. For 35 years. The room held its breath. Then I looked at the crowd, my chosen people, and raised my glass again. To those who show up when it matters. My family left in silence, their faces pale beneath the city's glow. By morning, the story had spread. Their reputations cracked under the weight of truth. Bethany lost clients. Dad's firm lost business. Mom's book club stopped calling. As for me, I stood by the same window that had started it all, the skyline endless and mine alone. Peace didn't come as a whisper. It came as clarity, the moment I realized I no longer needed to be seen by people who only looked when it suited them. For years, I waited for my family to see me. In the end, the real victory wasn't that they finally did. It was that I no longer cared if they ever would.